Some of these Title I schools that serve primarily Black and brown children, immigrant children, do not have the best resources or necessarily the best teachers. How can we ensure that these schools have better teachers, that we can improve the quality of education? As teachers gain experience, they also gain mobility. And they're able to relocate to other schools. And that's leaving some of these schools, Title I schools, with teachers that probably don't have the experience or the resources to deal with the population that they have. How can we address those problems and ensure that we kind of bridge the gap between those minority students and the rest?
That's one of the concerns that I know both Karla and myself have been raising for the almost entire 4 years that we've been on the board. How do we keep our good teachers in the Title I schools? Because some of the behaviors and the students are more difficult in Title I schools. And when the teachers have done their 2 years, I believe they're able to go to another school. It might be 3 years. But you know, we do have a teacher contract we have to deal with in that situation. But they have agreed to come to the table and start talking about what we can do to retain teachers and some of the best teachers in our Title I schools. I think also under the blueprint, you know, they have included a provision for national board certification, which indicates a highly effective teacher. They're giving a $10,000 bonus for that, but they're also, in addition, saying, if you will work in a Title I school, you can get an extra $7,000. That would give a $17,000 boost to some of the highly qualified teachers to stay in a Title I school. Will that work? Well, I don't know just yet, but I think it's a start because it is a tougher job. And I do think in some ways it deserves a little bit more. Karla?
Yeah, just to add, our previous superintendent, Dr. Jack Smith, he began to address this before the blueprint came. When we got a new teacher to the school system that had experience, he would make sure that they went to Title I schools. So he could control that, and so he did that. But as Brenda said, the blueprint is going to incentivize teachers to stay in Title I schools with additional funding.
But I will say that while I do agree that we want to keep our experienced teachers, sometimes experience doesn't help because they have become set in their ways, if I can be honest about that. And sometimes having new, younger teachers and teachers that look like the students in the class might be more motivating to some of the students. So it's a mixed bag. I think you really have to take a look at the skills that they bring, what their experience is, what their training is, because a lot of people have no experience with what I might consider an urban school type of setting, because a lot of our schools are a little bit more urban than suburban, and they might be uncomfortable with that situation. And if they are uncomfortable, that's going to be demonstrated to the students in some way. The students will receive that message. So I'm not sure. It's a real balancing act, but there is an incentive under the blueprint to work in Title I schools.